is the Big O Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Can't complain. Even if I did, I'm not sure anybody would care.
We would care. We care. We love you. We care. So yesterday, obviously, you could not be with us because you wanted to focus in on your job and practice and watching the boys.
Zoom or any kind of social media chat is not allowed. And considering I only get to watch them once a week, I really got to pay attention. And if I was talking to you, I would have missed Raekwon Davis and Landon Roberts coaching up Channing Tindall. So
okay, I like that. If you're Channing Tindall, aren't you? I mean, you got to be a sponge at this point, baby. You want to pick up anything and everything you can from all these veterans, dude.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to write something about that because, they went out their way to work with him from a technique standpoint. I don't know if it was instructed to them by their position coach or their head defensive coordinator, their head coach, but that's just the nature of those two individuals. But not everybody is like that in the league. Not everybody is, they're the Ryan Tannehills of the world who are out there who basically are like, it's mine, it's my precious. I'm not sharing, I'm not helping, I'm not, if you ask a question, I'll help you out. But, not everybody, because, if Channing Tindall has a great camp, he's taking somebody's job, more than likely Landon Roberts. But Landon's got a good grasp on it because he's probably the defensive captain of the team. So
and there are different reasons to have both guys on the team, anyways. I mean, your short yardage, 3rd, 4th, and 1 goal line. I want that son of a bitch in the middle, and Landon Roberts thumping the shit out of you, bro. Okay, so because I know he will sell out his body like Zach Thomas used to sell out his body.
Yeah.
There are certain scenarios that Landon Roberts will be very precious in. You know what I'm saying?
I remember Frank Gore said that Landon Roberts gave him the hardest hit that he'd ever had in his NFL career when he was playing with the Jets.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, all you have to see is how he plays. I mean, he hits you. He hits you that your family feels it. You know what I'm saying? They're at home sitting on the couch going, "Oh God, that hurt me." Oh, you damaged my son. That's the kind of shit that Landon Roberts does to people. So yeah, there's a rhyme and a reason to have them all there. 1st and 2nd downs and maybe even passing downs. I might have Tindall at times flying around like I need him, but in short yardage, baby.
Yeah. Jerome also talked about he wants to play. He likes playing outside. He likes being multiple, versatile, moving around, that chess piece.
He's not the guy that fights through trash, bro. He can't do that. That's not him. When there's a traffic jam, he's going to be jammed. He's not, Landon Roberts will bust through that shit and he'll knife through it, but that's just not. And that's been a knock on him since he came out of college, that he's never been that guy that can, fight through all the trash, all the
still
traffic.
One hell of a player, one hell of a versatile player.
That's why you keep him on the outsides. That's why you keep him on the outsides.
I always say he's still underutilized as a blitzer, but we'll see how. If you got a guy who's going to do coverage, that frees that frees Jerome Baker up to blitz.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. There's no doubt that's actually a very good point because Tindall will probably help out some in coverage. He's got to get better in that area, obviously, but he's going to have to get better in that area because that's part of the game. Another guy is that I'm really excited for, and obviously most of this you couldn't get a feel for right now until we get to the pads and hitting and all that shit.
Oh, you know what was funny?
Brandon Jones is the other guy.
It's interesting you say that. Yesterday was a physical ass practice, and I was shocked.
Really? Wow.
Physical, very physical. Open up with 11-on-11 inside run, and no pads. People to the ground, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like, what is this? Like,
yeah, that's not normal. Yeah, it's not normal.
Yeah, that's, and I was just like, hey, listen, And I've always believed in this. If you want to be a running team, if you want to be a physical team, you just don't talk about it. You
No,
actually
you
work
practice
on
it.
it.
Yes, you live it.
And
Yes,
when you watch
yes.
these OTAs, these OTAs always become flag football without the
Right.
flags, football in pajamas. And
I got
then
you.
I'm never a big believer in that. And you see pass, run, pass, run. Like
That's why.
we saw,
It takes. That's why it takes so long for teams to play good football in the regular season, because the lack of hitting and the lack of. It's just
yeah,
there's an adjustment. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was no. I could have sworn to you that they had pads on, and I was just like, "Whoa, what is this?" And
Well,
it
they
was,
are. Well, they are. They are. Well, they are going to be a running team that is going to be their image.
yeah,
So it's what you just talked about. That if you're going to walk the walk, then if you're going to talk the talk, you then have to walk the walk in order to be able to do it. So
yeah.
it starts right from
But
these
Mike
moments.
McDaniel's, I wrote a column on how really this, if this is going to work, he's going to have to turn this into a top 16
I
offense,
saw it.
and that's not all on Tua. That's
It's everybody
mainly on the O-line and the run game.
for sure.
But and part of the question I asked him was, who is this period the most difficult for, in terms of when you're installing a new offense, when you're working on new plays, when you're trying to identify who you are as a new team. And he basically was just like the offensive line. He said, all of my OTAs is built around my offensive line. It was a great quote, great explanation. He clearly knows that I'm obsessed with offensive linemen and offensive line play, as is he, which is why we're perfect together. And the thing is, he said something very interesting that I know was kind of targeted towards me, which is that for them they need a fresh start, and they got to let go of what happened in the past and have to stop being reminded of it. And that's where I come in, which is hard for me, since I can't let go of a decade of trauma from offensive line play. But one thing I did notice, they were big. They were very big. They're a huge, towering, big offensive line. Now the hope is that they have the athleticism to match, because they're big and they've got movement skills. And one thing that McDaniel said, which I found very interesting, was raw talent. He says this group has got the most that I've ever coached. And he's coached some very good offensive lines. But I could see where he's coming from, because most of them are big and big athletes. They're big and big. There's a difference between being big and then being athletic. These are big athletes. And maybe I'm not saying I'm turning the tide, but I'm. And he said his coaching staff was built primarily to improve this offensive line. That's why he hired Frank Smith. That's why he hired, from Boston College. That's why he kept John Pierre. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
But you notice how when he talked about Lemperre, he talked about how Lemperre is doing a good job of learning what we're doing. You notice, right? But I read it right. Didn't I read it right from the get-go? That I told you, when people kept asking me, well, why do you like that they kept him? I go, well, they must like him as a human being and as a teacher. So they're going to teach him what they do so they can groom him, because it's a smart thing, because McDaniel knows eventually he's going to lose Frank or Applebaum, and he's going to need somebody to groom to try to take over. So he's going to give Lemperre the first crack at being the guy that is grooming in the background for that. So it's what we talked about throughout the year. The guy wasn't ready to lead his own unit, but clearly he must have something there as a coach that people like. So he's not at the stage to be the teacher. He's more there to be the Padawan first, to learn, and then he can then be the teacher. You know what I mean? So now they're going to teach him at this level what to do.
Agree with everything you said. Lemieux Jean-Pierre was not ready to be a lead position coach. And probably couldn't problem solve at the rate he needed to in the NFL. But keep in mind, this is a guy who's played in the NFL, and he's been groomed by Bill Callahan, who is considered one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL.
Yes.
So if Bill Callahan takes you as his understudy and is grooming you, there's clearly something to work with there. So, hopefully he's working. He's a former center, so hopefully he's working with the centers and helping them improve their snapping. Can't tell you who's playing center because it'll get me in trouble. But it wasn't what I expected, and it alleviates kind of some of my concerns, except for the fact that he hasn't really played that in the NFL.
No, I get what you're saying, that they're trying Connor Williams now at center. You're not saying it.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you're saying it, but I'm saying that I know that Connor Williams is being tried at center for now, which is a smart move by them early on in this process, so they can figure out if any of the other guys can really play left guard to the point that they're comfortable, and he can play center if they're comfortable. But if he can't play center to the point they're comfortable, or they're really uncomfortable with their left guard, he'll go back to his original position of left guard, and they'll continue their move at center and wait till J.C. Tretter makes a damn decision or not.
I have not said that that's happening.
It's all good. It's all good.
If it were happening, all of the things that you said, including trying out guys like Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg at left guard, it makes sense. It does make sense.
Of course.
And then you got Michael Dieter as the, break in case of emergency guy.
Right. Swing guy or something. Yeah. Something like that. Of course. Yeah, that makes all sense.
And we won't know anything until pads come on. And then also, not only that, but you always know an injury depletes your offensive line, and then you got to play musical chairs and figure out how to patch it. So, I'm not as stressed as I was a week ago. Now, the stress level is still there, but I'm okay with the experimentation through mini camps, see what you have.
Well, that's what it is. That's what this time is.
You kick the tires on a JC Tretter.
Yeah, exactly. And he's told you what they're doing, which is what everybody does, by the way. These are all the mental reps. So that way it's all documented, it's all practice in the head, it's all hopefully muscle memory for them. So now when training camp rolls around, now we have taught you this. Now you can start to do it and take off with it and see what you can do. So that's kind of what this whole process is. So it's what Omar said. Once we get to the next level of putting on the pads, then we'll find out who is who and who belongs where.
First day of pads last year, I always had my suspicions that the line was trash. But first day of pads last year just reaffirmed it to me. Then that week where they went up and practiced against the Bears and just got thrown around like rag dolls, I was just like, nope, I'm out. Can't do it.
Yeah. I think we're going to see something different this year. By the way, EJD Construction, proud sponsor of our show. If you're looking to remodel that kitchen, hey, listen, you got the football season coming up. You're in the middle of basketball and hockey playoffs. Maybe you want to enlarge that man cave and do all kinds of funky stuff. You want to add an addition, call Eric at EJD Construction. Not a handyman. We're talking about custom home construction. You want to add a second floor, a third floor. You want to add something to the roof so you can go look outside and check out the stars. 305-433-4843. Because these are all the kind of things that some of our listeners have done over the years. 305-433-4843.
Renovation time.
Damn right. EJD Construction. All right. So it is renovation time. They are renovating the offense. So what did you see from number one son?
Who's number one? Oh, Tua. Okay. Oh, bro. If you didn't just tell me he was number one.
Number one son.
Be honest with you, I've never known Tua's number. Like, I was like, who's number one? I just literally looked down and was like, oh, it's Tua. Like,
number one in your hearts, number one on the charts. Tua Tagovailoa.
good passes yesterday. They were all on Dolphins highlights. So if you follow the Dolphins social media accounts, you'll see the pass to Preston Williams where Nick Needham falls down and Preston runs it for a touchdown. They don't show you all of it, but because I love how they kept Nick Needham out of the frame so it doesn't embarrass him. But great play, great throw by Tua. No zip, all arc, which is what Tua does. Tua can put it in a bucket right where it needs to be. And then there were instances where over the middle of the field, and that's another highlight they have to Mike Gesicki, there was a little bit more velocity on his passes than what we saw at the end of the last two seasons. Now, will that be consistent? I don't know. Can't say. Just watching him for one day. But seems like there's a little bit of noticeable improvement. Would love to see what that looks like on a 15-yard out. Still haven't seen him throw a 15-yard out. Need to see it. Mike McDaniel, if you're watching this, give me a 15-yard out next week. And you know, if I see a 15-yard out with some zip on it, then I'll be like, okay, we're there. We got it. We got everything we need. But we'll see.
So overall, you like what you saw? I mean, listen, again, need pads, need rushing, need an opponent.
Yeah.
I think you'll get a better feel for the Philadelphia and the Bucks practices, I believe, right?
Eagles and Bucks. You know what? I don't worry so much about what the offense is going to look like because I have confidence in what Mike McDaniels is building because I've seen it, liked it, admired it everywhere that it's ever been. That's my style of offense. That's how I would play the game. That's how the type of team that I would build. The question is, do you have the parts for it? And clearly you got the wide receivers. You got 5 running backs. You pick whichever one you like. I like Ahmed Savan yesterday. Savan Ahmed. God damn it. I always mix that name up. So I was, when there are no pads, Savan Ahmed looks like the best back on the team. Then when pads come on, it's bye-bye. And so I like that.
There was a receiver, Brandon Jimmy Johnson brought him in, and he had like
Manning. No, that's Brian.
Yeah, something Manning. Yes,
Brian Manning, I think.
Brian Manning. That's it.
I wrote a big time feature on them on my first internship with the South Florida Sun Sentinel.
Yeah, he tore it up in camp, and then once he put on pads, like, yo, where's Brian? What happened to the kid? What happened to him? You know, it was one of those deals. And yeah, it was like everybody writing about him, and you know, it was just.
Savan did well.
That was the beauty of Arande. Arande wasn't signed in the middle of the offseason when they were running around in shorts. They signed him right at training camp. So he had to come in with pads and everything. And on that first catch that he caught, like right in the corner of the end zone, he landed those 2 feet in the corner. You're, oh, okay, this guy's doing something right away because there was pads already. You know what I mean? He was already playing football, so he was ready to go.
I remember those Jimmy Johnson years where he'd let us right in the action. He'd be like, "Media, come here, media, come here, come look at this."
Jimmy was the best at that. I will get, and you know what? He, as much as he could be a dick at times, he like Pat Riley, he understood our job, so he'd always give us meat on the bone.
Oh, you know? Yeah.
So he knew how to play that game
to get his agenda out there. I love that.
Yeah, no, him and Riley, that shit doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Very few people do that. But then again, there are very few coaches that have the juice that can do that publicly on a consistent basis, and you can't question it. You know what I mean? If Belichick wanted to do that, he could. You know what I mean? Mike McDaniel should not be doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? Guys that are unproven.
It's still important to use the media to get your agenda out there.
Yeah, but not the Jimmy Johnson and Pat Riley way.
No, like, oh my God, Pat Riley.
Pat Riley's calling his team shrinking violets.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. There's no way a coach nowadays says my team were shrinking violets last night. Like, no. That would never happen in today's world. But Pat Riley could do that. He could challenge you. You can't say shit. You know what I mean? Because there are certain coaches that, hey, bro, they've got the clout. You know, they've already earned it. And what are you going? Popovich says it. What are you going to do?
No, that's correct. That is
Swallow it.
correct.
You got to take it. It's over, bro. It's Popovich. You know, so certain guys, but that doesn't happen anymore, bro. Those kind of people are very few, and the ones available don't do that. All right, so what did you see out of the receivers? Well, the flow in the offense, throws, those kind of things. He has been throwing to some of them. I don't know if it's all of them or whatever. Chemistry wise, did you see good flow in that?
Everybody, I liked what I saw from Teddy Bridgewater, Preston Williams, another guy who was killing it in practice. I really think he makes the roster, if not has an impact. If he can, basically learn the playbook. Showed you the talent that he had yesterday. Receivers, Mike Gesicki. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, passing game, maybe. We'll see.
Did you see a bigger player?
No. Mike is Mike still looks
because it looked like he was kind of working on his arms the last time we saw him on the podium. It looked like, is he doing a little weights there at the top? You know what I'm saying?
When they put pads on and somebody asked Mike to block, I'll get back to you. Like,
okay.
He can look as big as he wants. Mike can't block.
Well, well, that again, I'm not asking you that. All I asked you is, did you see any build on the body? That's it.
Still looks like a glorified receiver
on the body. That's
still looks like a glorified receiver. I didn't get to see him up close and personal. So next time I'm out there, I will look for it.
Like last night, Tyler Hero was flexing, the muscles.
I saw it at post game. Yeah,
that was funny. That was good.
Lynn Bowden wasn't practicing. Cedric Wilson wasn't practicing.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me stop you right there, because I was going to talk about this. I have a note here. I'm a little concerned about Lynn Bowden. You're really young. Hamstrings kept you on the sideline last year, and you lost out on an opportunity. Hamstrings are continuing to keep you on the sideline now again.
I can't remember.
Yeah, well, apparently that's what it was last year, hamstring, and now it's another hamstring again. Young man, these opportunities are few and far between. You've got a lot of talent, but if durability is an issue now at this age, that is a concern for me right now, that he had a hammy last year and now he has another hammy now. I'm a little worried for him there, because it's hard. This is a really deep receiving core.
These things happen. I can't tell you. I found Mike McDaniel's answer to a question about Lynn Bowden Jr. interesting, which was basically like, when we see him, we'll kind of evaluate.
Right, he's battling a hamstring injury. He was saying, it was like,
guys get hurt all the time, guys.
I know, but dude, you were hurt all last year. You should be.
He wasn't hurt all last year. He was prematurely and irresponsibly put on IR, and I said that when it happened, and stand by it and call Flo and Greer out on it. Like that was
no, that's Flo's move, not Greer's move.
Okay. Listen, there's one person responsible for the roster, and that's Chris Greer. I'm not letting him off.
No, he's responsible for drafting of the roster. The other moron was the one that was responsible of destroying the roster. And then, no, I don't want that guy. No, give me Kyle Van Noy. No, I don't want Kyle Van Noy. No, give me Eric Flood. No, I don't want
Eric. So tell me who traded for Lynn Bowden then.
I don't know who. Obviously, he traded for him, but he didn't play him. He thought he wasn't good enough and put him on the IR. So obviously, he thought he was injured.
He wasn't good enough. He really sucked in training camp. And
so that's my point, that if you didn't get it done last year and you're dealing with an injury and now it's another injury, kid, you better figure that injury out by training camp, because you got no shot at making this team, because you haven't shown anything yet. And as much as all of us are intrigued with his talent, you got to get on the field, bro.
You got to learn the playbook. So we'll.
There it is. Yeah. Hang up on those people. How about Easy E? What'd you see from Easy E yesterday?
Easy E. Nothing.
Okay. All right.
Nothing.
Did you like how he moved for a bigger guy? Does he move well?
He was okay.
Didn't see anything. Okay.
Didn't see anything. Didn't make any plays. Didn't see anything.
Okay. All right. Anything else that stood out on the receiving side? Or didn't?
Receiving, no, Waddle, just Waddle and Tyreek and Preston. That's it.
Okay. All right. When are you guys inquiring about the damn race?
We did yesterday.
No, I know you talk with the coach, but I'm saying the players. Gotta stir it up with the players, bro.
Listen,
if they want, I can get it produced and get it sponsored too. We can do that. We can put it on Fox Sports or something. We gotta let's milk this thing, bro.
It's supposedly he wants it at the end of training camp. So we'll see. We'll see if they make it. Not training camp, the end of the off-season program. We'll see if we can make it happen during mandatory minicamp. The only concern McDaniel has is that guys who should be in the race, like Mostert, aren't healthy enough to be in the race. So
right, yeah. And they're hoping Mostert is ready, hopefully by middle of training camp, preseason, something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to, and it can be easily resolved, but I'm still trying to get to the bottom of what his injury was. Like,
was it an ACL?
No,
I thought it was an ACL.
According to Tua's trainer, which Tua's trainer is
Nick.
Yeah, according to Nick, it was like cartilage, not a knee.
Oh,
and that's not what I'm reading. So it's a little bit fishy. I'll clear it up when I get a chance to. But it doesn't seem like this is something that's gonna take him into the regular season. But I've always felt like the best thing that you could do is begin training camp by putting injured guys on PUP, and then allowing them to ease their way into the work. But we'll see.
Did you ask Brett Tessler what it is?
No, I said that's why I said it could be easily cleared up with Brett. You know what? The funny thing is,
Brett doesn't bullshit. He doesn't play those games.
Yeah, but most agents do not talk about injuries. That's the one thing that I have. But I'll ask Brett.
That's documented. That's stuff that's already.
No, it's documented as an ACL. It's documented as an ACL.
Okay, that's what I thought.
People are now saying that it was not an ACL. Now it's, I've heard athletes lie about their injuries timeless times. So I don't really know what to believe.
No, I got you. Yeah, it's it's true.
And we never asked Mostert specifically what it was because I thought it was an ACL. We thought it was an ACL. It was reported as an ACL. And that's all I can go off is what's been reported. I mean, if it was a cartilage, I don't know cartilage. I've never heard of a cartilage injury on a knee. So I've never heard of it. So
you haven't, or you have
not. Of course. Have not.
People lose cartilage all the time. It's a bad thing actually, because that's you'd almost rather bust up a ligament and replace the ligament, because you cannot replace the cartilage. The only way to replace the cartilage is by doing that thing that Terrell Davis tried to do, and others, where they regrow the cartilage and then they put it into your knee. I forgot the name of that procedure, but that's kind of like they take a cadaver's
cartilage or something like that. And I know he mentioned in his press conference, I think he said he did the same thing Xavier did. And Xavier had some experimental surgery that obviously took.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what.
I forgot the name of that procedure, but that's once you start losing cartilage, that's what gets to bone on bone, and that's what the itis is. The tendonitis, arthritis, what was the other itis that they developed? There's 3 itises. I forgot which one the other itis I'm missing. But yeah, that's once you start missing the cartilage, that's the buffer between the bones in the knees and everything. And so then
Yeah.
that's when it becomes an ugly situation. 6193 is stirring it up here on the chat board now. He wants you to see, because I know the real reason why Le'Veon Bell was no longer part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they want you to find that out. Now that you ruined my $1 million with, Jordan Love, that I wanted $1 million in Bitcoin, which, by the way, you owe me a fucking $1 million in Bitcoin, by the way, okay? Because you
wait
wanted,
on it, okay? Yeah.
and then I want 100,000 to tell the real story about Le'Veon Bell, why the Steelers got rid of his ass. Nobody's ever really actually reported the real story. But since you're part-time with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, I think they want you to find out now what's the deal with that. So I don't know. What can I tell you? But don't ruin it for me, bro. Okay, I need 100,000 in Bitcoin for this one. I'm not going to go $1 million this time, but you already owe me $1 million. So, don't go ruining my other 100,000 for Bitcoin, okay?
Oh, so you know the reason you're not saying.
Of course. I can't say. What do you want me to do, bro? I couldn't
All
say
right.
the Jordan Love thing either. I was sworn to it. What can I do? You know how it is, bro. You've been sworn to at times. There are things you probably know you can't say still to this day.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to piss people off. They told me to keep it quiet. Nobody's ever reported it. So
Goddamn.
they know I know, and it's never gotten out. So it's, you know what I mean? So I can't tell anybody. So that's the excuse me, that's the amazing part. That story's never gone out of Pittsburgh. Nobody really knows why Le'Veon Bell is not in Pittsburgh. Why they kicked his ass out.
Kicked
Nobody's
out a
ever.
lot of people.
I know, but
They're
the
different
the reason why they kicked him out, I'm amazed that nobody ever has actually unearthed that story. So anyway.
What was I gonna tell you? Yeah. The one thing, yeah, it's funny you mentioned stories that nobody's ever unearthed. Arian Foster, we had him on I Am Athlete Tonight last week, and I just asked him about, like, because he abruptly retired during the season when he was playing with the
That's
Dolphins.
right. Yes. Go ahead.
That answer was unreal. We put it out on social media, but he basically was like, he was standing on the sidelines during one of those games. He was injured, so he wasn't playing, and it was kind of the emergence of what's the Jay Ajayi. And he said he was standing on the sideline, and he realized there was a physics book that he would rather read than actually be playing in the game. And he was just like, yeah, I'm done. And he says his father, who played the game, was like, you'll know when you're done. You'll. And I just thought that was such an amazing story. That's one of the questions that I will now forever ask all retired athletes when I talk to them. Like, when did you know you were done? When did you, like, I'd love to ask that question to Zach Thomas.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a brutally honest moment for them, because they either lost the love or they realized that they lost their edge. That they no
lost
longer
their ability. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
and the thing
an
is, so
enlightening
many
moment, but
players,
it's weird. Yeah.
so many players have shame about the ending, but half the time you're talking to these players and they played 11, 12, 13, 14 years in the NFL. I'm like, you've had 3 times the average career. You should have absolutely no shame about anything you've accomplished. If you've hit double digits, people don't realize how hard it is to hit double digits as a professional athlete.
That's near impossible, bro.
Much less a football player. Like, once they hit 30, imagine the politics they got to play. They either got to be really elite or they got to be some hell of a politics player, because these teams, you're 30, all right, time to push you out the door. And that's just the nature of this league, which is ridiculous. But
I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Column on really about leadership, mentoring, the anti-Ryan Tannehills.
I I don't really know if I want Tannehill teaching me if I'm the other quarterback anyway. So it is what it is. So it's
Bro,
there are positives to it too at the same time. That's the way Malik has got to look at it. Okay, positives there.
like, I'm sorry, you're threatened for your job. So anyway, let me not even get that. That was the weakest thing I've ever heard.
No, I think you should pass your knowledge on to everybody, no matter what, bro.
I agree with you.
That person is not at fault for anything. They're trying to survive too. So,
And the sad thing is, I worked once with a coworker who shall not be named, and who felt threatened by me in my existence. Eventually, he was right, but I didn't look at it that way. And
oh God, I got that a bunch of times from all kinds of people. So
yeah, he didn't share anything. He wanted to play like Lord of the Rings, my precious, and I'm sorry, that's no way to create a working environment. No,
right.
Zero.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just horrible.
Yeah, no, it's sad. I've never been like that myself. I've always been the guy that helps and shares with anybody and everybody in the business.
Because you know what, you never know. Like, I'll tell you right now, because I've had 16 billion partners covering the Dolphins. One of my partners right now, he left me to go do a management job, and now he's running like a whole branch of newspapers. If I ever need a job, I can call Izzy Gould.
Okay.
It's like,
right.
Like, bro, don't like. You never know. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, that's never been me. I've always helped anybody and everybody that's been involved in my business that I could help, whether it's been a writer, whether it's been somebody on radio or anything. I've always been. Yeah, there you go.
I'm
always
flexing like Bam and Hero.
And Tyler. Last night they flexed it, baby. They played like the stars that they are yesterday, especially Butler, man. Butler was just a monster yesterday.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Imagine if he helps, because I really do believe they have a good chance of winning the championship. Because they're a team. They're a good team.
Legitimate. Yes.
If you listen to the I Am Athlete episode this week, which is Kyrie Irving, he talks about when he was with the Cavs and what went wrong there and why they never won another championship. And he blamed himself because he was going through something and he wasn't open enough or honest enough to tell guys what was going on and to lean on LeBron. But basically he said, we were a good collection of individuals, but we weren't a good team. And he's like, at that level of the game, he's like, team is what's going to win. And listening to that, I was just like, this Heat team might be the best team that I've ever seen in all of sports. When I'm saying team, like collection of individuals minimizing themselves for the greater good, like undoubtable. Like, I don't think they can miss. I don't think there's an individual that they can go without that the collection of team could make up for. That's just because that's how they are.
No, you love the way that these guys have bonded together and play for each other. It's a lot of fun to watch, and because they're willing to sell out offensively and defensively for each other, that's what's going to give them a chance to actually go all the way. And listen, if you're a Heat fan, bro, you got to pull for Dallas. You know that, right? You got to pull for Dallas, right, Omar? You know why, right? Do you know why? Yeah. No, you know why? Because Miami will have home court against Dallas. They will not have home court against Golden State. So
I didn't know that. But
you want Dallas to win.
I don't want any Steph Curry.
I mean, Luka's a bitch too right now, bro.
Steph Curry's got a better team around him. But
no, yes. I get it. No, you're right. And they got the pedigree. They've got the rings. So there's experience there too. So obviously, but I mean, for Miami purposes, they have a better record than Dallas, not a better record than Golden State. So we eliminated Phoenix, who had the best record, Now you got to go with Golden State, eliminate them, the second best record, because Miami is the third best record in the league. So one more here. So let's hope Luka can pull it off, man. The fight between Mark Cuban and Lil Wayne is actually a little better. That's actually good.
Man, they celebrated a championship together. I'll never forgive Lil Wayne for that.
Well, Lil Wayne was going for Phoenix. So
yeah.
And then Cuban like took shots at him, and then Lil Wayne got pissed at him, threatened to pee down his throat or something.
Did he?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he got nasty. He took it down after. It's out there. I've got the story. Yeah, he got a little out of. He tried to act like Mr. Tough Guy. His bodyguards are Mr. Tough Guy, not him. Okay, but whatever. He can act whatever he wants. What's he weigh? Like 110? Anyway, follow him on Twitter. What 125?
140.
Yeah.
130.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a big dude.
No, he's not.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly, and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and of course doing his thing at I Am Athlete. You'll be on Friday on I Am Athlete.
Correct.
There you go, on Sirius. So check it out. Omar, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Right. We'll talk later in the week.
All right.
You got it. There you go. Omar Kelly.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.